Cottrell, representing the League of Women Voters of Bellingham and Whatcom County. Founded in 1920, the League is a nonpartisan organization with more than 700 affiliates in all 50 states. Our goals are to encourage informed and active participation in government, increase an understanding of major public policy issues, and influence public policy through education and advocacy. The League never endorses candidates or political parties. Membership is open to all people age 16 and older, and we invite you to join. Tonight's forum is being recorded, and recordings will be available on our website, League of Women Voters BellinghamWhatcom.org, on the City of Bellingham YouTube channel, and also on BTV 10. No portions of this forum may be rebroadcast in part or in full without the written consent of the League. Questions in this forum have been prepared in advance by the League with input from the public. Attendees may submit questions using the question and answer button at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and we will ask as many questions as time permits. I would like to welcome Todd Donovan, candidate for District 2. Raise your hand, please. Thank you, Todd. And Kelly O'Connor is not attending and has withdrawn from the race. County council members are elected for 4-year terms. The council adopts and enacts ordinances or resolutions, levies taxes, appropriates revenue, and adopts budgets for the county. They establish the compensation paid to county officers, adopt comprehensive plans for present and future development of the county. Only residents of District 2 may vote for this position. Here are the rules. Our candidate may make a 2-minute opening statement and a 1-minute closing statement. The candidates have up to 90 seconds to answer questions. To help you track your time, when you begin to speak, the purple timer screen will display a clock counting down the time. It will turn yellow when 15 seconds remain, and when it turns red, your time is up. We ask that you be respectful of the time allotted. If you continue to speak, a bell will ring and we may cut off your microphones. Are there any questions regarding the rules?
Oh.
If we can get ready to start. So I'm going to read the statement from Kelly O'Connor, her vacant seat statement. She's entitled to her opening statement as well as Mr. Donovan. And this is what Kelly O'Connor writes. My name is Kelly O'Connor, a previous candidate for Whatcom County Council. Significant career developments earlier this year changed my course, and I made the decision to withdraw my candidacy for the District 2 seat. The timing of a campaign no longer worked for my family. Timing also prevented an official withdrawal before the primary. However, my withdrawal will be reflected in my statement on the final ballot. The auditor's office has the update on file, and I am releasing it to as many parties as possible to eliminate later confusion as a result of the late withdrawal. My official campaign pages are currently being deleted and removed. I will be actively looking for other ways to advocate for platform issues and stay connected with our community. Thank you and be well. Kelly O'Connor. Mr. Donovan, candidate Donovan, will you please give your opening statement?
Yeah, thanks to League of Voters for putting this on and for having me here basically unopposed. I still have a candidate on the ballot. And I think it's actually really important that you give candidates the chance to speak, to encourage engagement, even when our opponent may have withdrawn. So my opening is I'm a professor at Western Washington University. I've actually been engaged with the league on work that I do at the university for years. I've been on county council for since 2016. I'm running for what would effectively be the first part of my full second term. And my priorities are, to continue with the accomplishments that I've been able to do, serious stuff, more housing options, protecting our drinking water, like things that I've actually worked hard to get past that still need to be put forward. Combating climate change, and things that our council has done, things I think I've taken the lead on. Alternatives in incarceration. There's a lot more work to be done on these things, and it's really important. And hopefully we can have this discussion, that we have members of council who are honest and truthful. And I just watched it was painful to watch the last thing with Councilmember Byrd, my colleague on council, where he has a fundamental disassociation with the truth. It's important that we have those conversations about that, and that we have members of council who are honest about what they're doing, about what they've accomplished, and I am committed to doing, and calling out people like that, who fundamentally disrespect and contribute to the big lie that Trump has been.
Thank you, Mr. Donovan. So here is your first question. How would you evaluate your success as a council person at the end of your term?
Oh, thank you for that. At the end of my current term, I worked hard to pass the Lakewater Stormwater Utility District that is now making an equitable funding source for cleaning up Foster Lake Whatcom. I worked hard to pass what we call the C-PACER program that Mr. Byrd took credit for. Did the hard work on that with legislative staff to lower the costs that businesses have to invest in climate efficiency stuff. I co-sponsored and worked for years on the Cherry Point amendments that are now going to fundamentally change what can be happening out there in terms of the fossil fuel industry. I've worked hard and put in the time to ramp up our crisis stabilization facility was an alternative to jail. We now have a facility where we can put people for detox and for mental health issues. That is a fundamental change to what we've been doing. And that's just a small list of things. And I look forward to working on these things for the next 4 years.
Thank you, Candidate Donovan. Your next question is, how has the recent heat wave impacted our county, and what role might the council play in mitigating the impacts of similar weather events?
Oh, really good question. So we have a climate impact advisory committee that is going to come into council with recommendations of how we deal with sea level rise, how we deal with stream flow changes. And we really need to respect and listen to their recommendations. And I mean, I can look out my front door here and see less snowpack on Mount Baker. And I go to presentations where people are talking about reduced, the erratic stream flows we're going to have because of just warming these heat strokes, these heat events. We have so much more work to do on this, but we can find funding to help people convert their inefficient heat systems to more efficient heat pumps as an equitable way to help people deal with the heating. But we really need to just get fundamentally address what can we do as a community to address climate change that are causing these issues. And I've been working on that, and I will continue to do that.
Thank you, Candidate Donovan. And a related question. A Whatcom County Climate Action Plan is in process of being implemented. Which item of focus do you feel is most important?
I think the most important thing we need to do, so I encourage people to read this report. We need an officer, not an officer, we need a person at the executive level at the county who's going to help us shepherd the implementations of the recommendations from this committee. So it's, and maybe not just that one person, but it's a complex set of recommendations about how we can move forward to address climate change. It's just a report. Unless we have somebody budgeted to be at the executive level beyond our department heads as an official with staff to coordinate and to help implement all of the things in that plan, it's just going to be a bunch of paper on a shelf. So I've had conversations with folks who are on that committee, and I think that's that's my top priority. It's like, we need a director of climate resiliency, whatever we want to call that. We need to put that in an executive level position who can take those recommendations and move us forward and help us with the budget requests we need, the staff requests we need to implement the recommendations from that committee.
Thank you, Candidate Donovan. What are the top infrastructure needs in the county, and why do you think these to be important?
Ooh, there's so many. I'll actually, one of them personal to me is the Whatcom Island Ferry, the Lummi. We need to replace that. It's going to be really expensive, and we're hoping for federal infrastructure dollars to help us do that. We can partner with the state for, there's highway roundabouts that we can do. There's all sorts of stuff that we can do that we need to do for like east-west transportation road stuff out in the county. But there's the harder nuts where we may not get state dollars, and I will put the replacement for the Whatcom Chief up there. Culverts for salmon habitat, that's infrastructure. When we put in new roads and have the opportunity to put in fiber, that's infrastructure. But if the question is like, the number one priority to me is a replacement for the Whatcom Chief. And I don't think we have enough people talking about that. That boat is older than me, and I'm looking pretty old here. And the lighting is bad, it is, you should think of the Whatcom Chief as a bridge. We spent a lot of money on bridges going to very less populated places than Lummi Island. But we need that boat, and we're working hard to get the federal government to help us do that.
Thank you, Candidate Donovan. This is your last question before your closing statement. Do you support expanding the ground level response and coordinated engagement, the GRACE program? Why or why not? Yeah,
absolutely. And I've been campaigning on this. The GRACE project and the law enforcement assisted diversion project, anything that we can do to divert traditional law enforcement from responding to mental health, behavioral health issues, we need to invest in that. And I have supported this, and I appreciate the prosecutor, Eric Ritchie's efforts to get grants to do this. Some of those grants are going to run out. So, we need to have like local dedicated funding sources to build off of and expand those programs. And beyond that, even, having alternatives, something, the Cahoots model in Eugene, and, anything where we can find alternatives to just traditional law enforcement responding to mental behavioral health issues, or having co-responders. I mean, we really just need to rethink these things, and to help our traditional law enforcement folks do their job, because their job, they're not counselors, and they're not mental health professionals. And as much as we invest in some positions to do that, we really need to support our law enforcement folks with GRACE and with LEAD and those sorts of programs.
Thank you, Candidate Donovan. So that was your last question, but we are now looking for your 1 minute closing statement.
Okay. Again, thank you. I think at least my other job is about researching governing and civility. And as a professor at Western Washington, I'm troubled by what's going on with our county council right now, and the disinformation, the kind of lack of science and disrespect for facts that's going on our council. And I will be somebody there that will be committed to paying attention to science and facts. And I was really distressed by the opening statement by an incumbent council member about none of us were going out to Kendall and none of us were on boats on Samish. And somebody's been on council since 1989. Those are all just lies. And we need council members who don't lie. We need council members who are respectful about science.
Thank you. Thank you, candidate Donovan. Donovan,
thank you.
Oh, you are? Good. All right. On behalf of the League of Women Voters, I thank you for being here today and for being willing to run for public office. Voters can find more information about the candidates online at vote411.org and in your voter pamphlet. Ballots will be mailed October 13, 2021. Your ballot must be postmarked or in a ballot drop box before 8 p.m. on November 2nd, 2021. Please remember to sign the ballot envelope. And if mailing by postal service, we recommend mailing early. Thank you.